Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show. I serve on many boards, have served on many boards where it comes to our incredibly terrible sex trafficking problem that we have in our world and in our own backyard. So I am very happy to have Paul O'Connor on the show. We're going to talk about how we can end sex trafficking, talk about defending the sex worker, which a lot of you don't understand that thought process. So we're going to explain a little bit to you. And then Paul's going to tell us what's going on in the world and how we can figure out how to do better about protecting our young and old women and men that are trafficked on a daily basis. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks, Ted. Excited to be here.
All right. So tell us about you. Everybody will want to know about the topic. I think it's super important for us to discuss it to the nth degree, but then they want to really know about you first and how you kind of got to this journey where you are an advocate for sex trafficking awareness.
Gotcha. So I myself and my close ones, loved ones haven't been directly impacted by sex trafficking. Some people that I know have been impacted by things close or similar to it, or have been hurt by the infrastructures that kind of support it, because there's abuses outside of the sex trafficking that can still occur because of the way things are structured today. But the way that I actually got started in it is a little bit not the norm. So when I was a little bit younger, I got up with some investors and we started to look into opening a gentleman's club. And during the process of researching that, you go and you speak to the people that work in that industry. And as I was interviewing people to try and get a handle on what we were about to invest in and get into, I started seeing this is not a safe industry for these people to work in. And we actually backed out of moving forward with that at all. And that got the idea in my head that, maybe I should focus my efforts more on making industries like this safe from sex trafficking. And that's what really got it all started.
So it's interesting to realize that from a business perspective, but then to begin to make that one of your life's missions. And so if you had come into it, which it sounds like you did, and that's really where you got involved, you're kind of a newbie to it. So I think people would want to know, where did the fire come from as you started to dive more deeply into the topic? You realized that the problem was incredibly deep. Is that what your motivator, do you think, was or is?
I mean, so I'm a very empathetic person because of the way that I was raised. So when I'm hearing the stories of the things that happen and the abuses that occur, I picture my daughter or my wife or my mom, that someone having to go and live through this. And that's what lights the fire in me, because I could not imagine, just because somebody that doesn't have a father or a husband or anyone like me in their life, that does not mean they should not have that same protection. So that's what I want this organization to be that protector for anyone, regardless of the industry that they work in.
So tell people, because I think we hear about it, we get desensitized on the news about everything. People don't realize that it's not just from a Law and Order SVU episode. It's not just from episodic TV or movies. This is a real everyday occurrence all the time in our own backyards. Can you tell people a little bit about that and some of the things that go on? Because I think people go, oh God, that's happening across the world, but that's not happening in my neck of the woods.
Right. So it's a problem that spans across jurisdictions, industries, systems, everything. And that's why we're trying to take this comprehensive approach. But it's something that really starts with, not having proper birth control out there. So there's kids born to families that be having as big of families as they have, or they get put into foster care. And that's where these issues start. So they start having problems, or they're getting into trouble, and then the system and in general society starts as problem children, and that's where it starts. So what we see as kids that are being a problem, or that need to go juvenile detention facilities or things like that, those are signs for traffickers. That's a person that I can target and nobody's going to care, or nobody's going to notice. So it is, as you said, it's everywhere. They target the schools. Whenever you hear about, people hanging out with older kids, which are actually adults, and they feel cool about it, and they're joining a club, or they're helping promoters. That's the start of it. They do something that's called grooming, and this
they groom them 24/7. They are grooming them. Yep. And guys, that is such an important thing to kind of be aware of. I've had people before ask me, well, how would I recognize that? How would that, if it's really going on underneath all of our noses, Ted, what is something that I could look for? And the grooming is such a big deal. The hanging out with the older crowd. You think that it's some crazy person from a foreign country that is doing this, and I can tell you from experience that it could be your neighbor. I have seen it. I have witnessed it. I have talked to sex trafficking victims, and I think that people need to stop thinking of that as something that only happens in the movies, and that it is happening in your schools. I don't care what age your kid is, it's happening in that school, it's happening in your neighborhood, it's happening in our own backyard. So what do you do? What services are you providing? What are you trying to accomplish in order to end it? What are the steps that you guys are trying to take?
So sex trafficking, exploitation, abuse, dismantling incorporated, that's the name of the organization. I don't think I said it yet. But so right now we're partnering with other organizations. We partner heavily with United Abolitionists here in Central Florida, the Victim Service Center. So we're trying to supplement the services that are already provided. So there's services out there like victim support, therapy, the rescue missions like Underground Railroad. But what we're trying to do, implement that, is to put standards in place for at-risk industries such as the bars, the nightclubs, the porn industry, transportation industry, and online. So websites like Craigslist or Backpage that is now taken down, and where it's leveraged to sell their product, which are people.
So you're helping your ancillary, you're helping them, you're helping get the services, because I think people don't realize that because we have such a giant problem here in Orlando, I'm speaking, and you guys can Google it for the stats, but it's horrifying how up at the top number we are, pretty doggone close to being top in the country for sex trafficking. What about, so there's a part that you put in there, and I should have put it up there, but we talked about it before we went live. There's an end sex trafficking. We can all get behind that. We all, okay, you were put in it, you shouldn't be trafficked, whatever the reason is. But talk about defending the sex worker.
So I think that's an important differentiator here, because of the way that the legal system is set up, which is something we want to work towards correcting as well. People that are sex workers or work in adult entertainment type industry tend to not get the kind of support that's needed from the legal system, from law enforcement, or any other kind of health benefits, because they get pushed into this category of being criminals. So part of our focus is to kind of decriminalize sex workers and what they do, and more put controls in place through our standards to protect them and to build relationships with law enforcement and the legal community. They're supported as opposed to being targeted and being arrested for, you know, things that aren't really hurting anyone in society.
Well, and also I've always felt like the sex worker, especially if they were trafficked, it doesn't matter what the reason is. I don't care what it is. I feel like they should still get the same protection
Yes.
that we all get. And I think what happens is people will judge. So if you're caught on the street without thinking about why and the history and how that person got to that place, we just blanket throw them into the criminal system, and we want to criminalize everything that they're doing. And I think that that is such a negative, because you just don't know. I don't know anyone, and I've said this before on shows, that at 4 or 5 years old decided they wanted to be a sex worker. This isn't something someone works toward. This is something that happens along the way, and there's an impact and there's a reason, and there is sometimes a pattern, and you get stuck, you get trapped. And I don't mean just in your own mind. I mean, you have somebody who's controlling the shots for you, and it's a life or death, and things that they do to keep the sex workers working. Pimp is the word that I think everybody knows, but there's so many different terminology for that. Those guys and girls, those guys and girls are real. Those people that promote the sex workers have them in a very precarious situation that most of us have never experienced, and it's a brainwashing, and it's a mess. So I love the fact that we want to defend the sex workers, to try to bring it out more and to try to get these people out so that they trust what you're trying to accomplish for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do people get involved? What is something, if somebody says this is atrocious, we've already had lots of those comments, this is terrible, I don't want them to just turn off the episode and not do something. I want them to figure it out. But, you know, this is a tough topic. It's very hard. It's harsh. There's a harsh reality there. People don't want to have to think about it. But for those people who are going to go out on a limb and really, really want to help, what's the best way for them to get involved?
So specifically now, our organization and United Abolitionists have an upcoming effort with all of the bars and night adult entertainment in Central Florida to start giving all of their staff training and then implement our safety standards into their processes and their policy for their organizations. So the way that you can help with that effort would be to donate to ourselves or to United Abolitionists, or get connected with anyone you may know in those industries, or someone in law enforcement, or just volunteering your time. I encourage you to reach out to me. Even if you don't know how you can help, just reach out and we'll find some work for you, because it's a huge effort. It spans degrees and legal infrastructure, and it's going to take a lot. We just need as many people as possible.
It's a 24/7 battle. And again, I know this from serving on several boards. It is something that you guys are, it's almost undefeatable, but it's got to be a one step at a time. That's why one person getting involved would think maybe that's not important, but it's so important for them. Their voice, their resources, anything. When these victims, sex trafficked victims, come to these services like Paul's services and the Lifeboat and UNICEF and United Abolitionists, they this is a whole new, they have so many layers you have to unpeel in order to get to where you can get them to a place that's safe. Their safety is challenged 24/7. When I tell you guys that there is so much that you can do to impact, don't think that you can't. Reach out to Paul, reach out to me, go to the website steady-safe.org. But you can reach Paul on social media. I want more people to get involved. If you sense something, it's like that old saying that they keep saying, if you sense something's wrong on an airplane, in a restaurant, I'm telling you the signs are there. You just have to kind of train yourself to recognize them. And I would rather be safe than sorry. So I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being on the show. You guys reach out to Paul, go to steady-safe.org, get involved. This is a big, big, big problem. And it's even more ginormous in our own backyard of the mouse and all sorts of tourism. Any other parting words before we head out?
Yes. So everything that I back into supporting this. So I'm also a realtor. So all of the proceeds from any real estate transactions I get go towards Steady. And this, in addition to implementing the standards, I'm also trying to get set up some promotional and talent management companies. So the name of that is Organized Chaos Entertainment. And from the talent management perspective, we try to work with anyone in the adult industry for free so that they don't go into any auditions or enter into any contracts or anything by themselves. Because sometimes someone being there makes all the difference in the world. And then also on December at Racks and Sands, having a fundraising Steady to help with this upcoming effort early next year.
Fantastic.
Thank you for letting me.
Can they get all the information about the event on the website?
Yes, it will be posted up there soon.
Okay, perfect. You guys get involved, reach out to Paul. This is just something I think we all need to wrap our arms around, even though it is not a fun thing to face. It's going on and it's happening to your neighbors' kids. You just don't know what it's literally going on all the time around us. So thank you for your efforts, everything that you guys are doing. Thanks so much, Paul. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Ted.
All right, guys, reach out, steady-safe.org.